Pistons Live is presented by Cure Auto Insurance. Pistons win a narrow one here in Miami in South Beach. They break their 2-game losing streak. Tobias Harris had an unbelievable game here tonight. I caught up with him just moments ago. Tobias, this one at the end here wasn't coming easy. Had to be earned, especially coming off this week. 2 tough losses. How did you guys want to answer with your response tonight?
The streak is over. It's like the sky is falling. Only lost 2 games, but rightfully so. We hold ourselves to a big standard. To be able to get this one out back-to-back, guys just stepping up, playing great basketball, and just bouncing back from our last 2 games. We knew that wasn't our standard of basketball. Got a little sloppy there in the fourth quarter as well, but the thing about our group is it's just the resilience to figure out a way and adapt. And that's what I love about our team, our spirit, our chemistry, and our bond together as a group. So great win for us.
You were rolling tonight. Greg Kelser joked on our broadcast, I pity the fool that had to defend Tobias Harris tonight. You only missed 2 shots. What got you in such a rhythm?
Just playing in the flow. Like being out, I had a really time to really evaluate like how I can impact this team in a way. On the offensive end, just taking what the game gives to me. I was able to make shots, space, run, just play my game in the flow of the game and be assertive when I have the basketball. I'm able to. These guys trust me to make those shots. And it's just great to be back healthy. I'm extremely grateful. And, being out, you miss the game. And so being back now, I'm glad to be out here, being in my rhythm and my balance on the floor.
No Jalen Duren tonight. The bench mob stepped up in a lot of ways. Big momentum swings, especially Paul Reed. How much of a stabilizer is he for you guys?
Man, P. Reed is just so active. He does so many things for our group that don't show up on the box score. His hustle, his ability. He's out there battling with 7-footers and grabbing rebounds. The things that he does for our group, and his just resilience and staying ready. Sometimes he plays, sometimes he doesn't. But, to be able to step up is huge, shows his professionalism, and just shows his maturity as a player.
You said it. The streak is over. What's your message to these young guys in the locker room?
Start a new streak, win streak.
All right. And a new win streak shall begin. The Pistons, they are able to survive the Miami Heat. A 44-point fourth quarter. The Pistons once led by 22 at one point. Cade Cunningham led the Pistons with 29 points. Tobias Harris, who we just spoke with, season high 26, shooting 59% this Pistons group. Natalie Kerwin alongside Greg Kelser. Man, these Pistons making these games so close. The last 3 meetings against the Heat were decided by 1 possession. We saw it here again tonight. And of course, for the Pistons, these last couple games that they've had as well have come down to 1 possession too. I mean, they have made these games so close, but they found a way tonight to get it done, Greg.
This is absolutely crazy. I mean, you're happy that you win the basketball game. They talked about the same thing in Indiana, where they had a team on the ropes and couldn't put them away and had to really hang on to win it. Didn't feel so good about the victory. It's almost like, you're backing up to the vault and that's sort of stealing something. But they played well in Boston and lost. They played pretty well in Detroit and lost. But tonight, again, they had a chance to put a team away, coast to victory, but just could not get it done. You're thankful that you won the game. You learn another valuable lesson in the process, but keep this in mind. There are not going to be many times when you give up 44 points in the fourth quarter on the road and win. There are not going to be many times when you turn the ball over 21 times on the road and win. So it really says something about how good this team is, that they can withstand all of that. But you don't want to keep going to that well.
You don't. And that's something I'm sure JB Bickerstaff will talk with them tonight about. But what this team did do tonight is come up with some great buckets when they needed to in this final minute. Oh my gosh, whether it was Cade Cunningham's jumper or Dennis Jenkins with, a great layup. I mean, these guys knew that they had to come up in some huge moments. So let's talk about that in our Buick GMC Pro Vision.
Well, the thing that you really appreciate is the fact that they can be clutch. Cade was forced to give it up. Dennis Jenkins just went back to his days with the Motor City Cruise when this would have been him trying to close this thing out. So that was a big bucket he made right there to avoid that last defensive effort against him and make a big bucket, make it a 2-possession game. And then Cade, the master, the guy who has the most clutch points in the league, hit a big one right there to really help put this game away. It's good to have those qualities. It's good to have that clutch mindset and ability, but it should not have been necessary tonight but thankfully they had it.
Thankfully they did. And it shouldn't come down to the wire like this, but those guys are able to get it done. Tobias Harris knew he had to step up, right? Jalen Duren wasn't available this game, so guys knew that they had to fill some roles. Tobias Harris was one of them. Mr. T, as you called him. We've elevated his name from Uncle T to Mr. T.
Yeah.
He hit his season high here tonight, Greg.
And the Pistons needed every bit of it. Johnny Kane, I'm going to tell you something. He asked me before the game, he says, who do you think is going to be the Pistons' second leading scorer? Mm-hmm. And I told him, I said, probably Tobias Harris. I said he needs to be. Well, he was almost the Pistons' leading scorer as he played almost flawlessly the whole way. From the three-point line to start the game, but a lot of that with his back to the basket, multiple dribbles, just backing down on people, and nobody had an answer. He was sensational. Looked like Tobias Harris of a few years ago when he would do this almost every night as the number one option for some of the teams that he was playing on. Really needed that effort. I heard you ask him about Paul Reed, though. Paul Reed was incredible. Without Paul Reed tonight, maybe they don't win it, given the way things played out. But Paul came off and did a tremendous job, always ready, as he tends to be.
Always. And helping the Pistons on the interior tonight. Let's talk about it in our Xfinity high-speed highlights, right? No Jalen Duren, so it was going to be all on Isaiah Stewart and Paul Reed to handle the paint, and that's exactly what they did. The Pistons outscored the Heat in the paint by a large margin. But yeah. Paul Reed, he's the guy. He comes in, he does the dirty work. He's always ready. B-ball Paul. That's what he brings this group, and you can always depend on him to be that guy.
Yeah.
You know, what do you see with him that just makes him, you know, have that mentality, Greg?
His professionalism. He's a veteran. He's been around, and he's backed up some really good centers in his career, most notably Joel Embiid in Philadelphia. So he knows there might be some nights when he may not get off the bench. And Paul is no different from anybody else. He wants to play. He has a lot of pride in his ability to be a professional basketball player and make things happen out there, play winning basketball. But on this team, as the third guy at that position, there are going to be some nights when he doesn't play or does not play much. Usually it takes something unusual for him to get in and have extended minutes. But I talked about it during the game. There were 4 games now, including this one, where he has absolutely saved the Pistons. In Houston, in Detroit against Chicago, in Detroit against Philadelphia, and here tonight in Miami. Paul Reed was an unsung hero. You
want to know who else was an unsung hero? What do you call Ron Holland? What's your nickname for him?
Hustle Man.
Hustle Man. Yeah. I like it. And then Grant calls him Crash. We'll have to go around the table and figure out what all our nicknames are. But you can call him whatever. Energizer Bunny, because that's exactly what he was here tonight off the bench. The bench stepped up in such a big way, coming up with steals. Obviously, he was great offensively, too. Ron Holland, how does he provide another element to this group when he comes off the bench with that second unit?
Well, first of all, when he plays under control, he can be an X factor, a real difference maker. And tonight he was under control. Ron Holland moved the basketball. He attacked when it was the correct thing to do. He did not take a 3 tonight, if I'm not mistaken. No, he did not attempt a 3, but he was 4 of 6 from the field. He only had 1 turnover out there because he was under control. His defense was sound, like right here. That was a big bucket that the Pistons were able to get a 3-point opportunity off of his hustle. So, you know, if Paul was an unsung hero, he certainly was one too. They got really good distance off their bench tonight with Paul, with Ron Holland, with Dennis Jenkins.
And the Pistons, you know, they started this game off with quite a few turnovers that got better throughout the game. Then they had some in the third quarter, but I feel like they did a much better job than they did last night. They had some, you know, depth step up, as we just talked about with Ron Holland, Paul Reed. I mean, all the way around, it felt like a huge improvement from last night. We're going to go to J.B. Bickerstaff's press conference now to talk about what he saw. We'll be talking about J.B. Bickerstaff right after we come back from this break. Well, Pistons win this one here in Miami. It is time now for FanDuel's thrilling play. Cade Cunningham here in the second quarter. He was the leading scorer here tonight. Let's take a look at this. the dunk over everyone that electrified this crowd here. I should say silenced them here inside Kaseya Center. Doing what he does, cooking it up. Yeah, there's Cade Cunningham for you. And you can roll up to the mansion with a bonus. New players get 500 bonus spins to play on Huff and Puff Money Mansion. Well, the Pistons, they had to fight and earn this one here in the fourth quarter to take a win here in Miami. Going back home, now back to Detroit. But JB Bickerstaff wanted these guys to play with a whole lot of effort, fix a lot of technical things, and that's exactly what they did here tonight. We're going now to JB Bickerstaff's press conference. Let's hear from him now.
Hey, Coach. I know the fourth quarter wasn't what you anticipated, but can you just speak on what kind of came apart during the fourth quarter?
I'm not concerned about that. You think about what these guys did this past 4 or 5 days. Played back-to-back cup games. Get on a plane at midnight. Fly 3 hours. Get to the hotel about 4 in the morning. And then come out here and win a basketball game. That's the most important thing. And that speaks to their character, their fight, their resolve. And sometimes you just got to get the win. And we got the win.
In the second quarter, there was a lineup that you used. It was DJ, I think it was Jaden Ivey, Duncan Robinson, Ron Holland, and Paul Reed. Can you just talk about what you saw out of that lineup and how they kind of push you into this win?
Yeah, it was defense to offense. You saw them creating turnovers. You saw them getting out in transition, creating easy opportunities. That's an athletic group, an extremely quick group, and a great defensive group. And then again, I'd take my hat off to P. Reed. In the trenches, it's hard to find somebody who gets the job done better than he does. For a guy to be able to rebound in traffic the way he does, it's impressive. And, his ability to get his hands on balls, block shots, create turnovers, and just be ready when his number's cold.
Coach, Tobias Harris in the second half, I think, had 16 points. How big was it to have, the veteran come in and be able to hit those shots and keep the offense moving? Yeah,
he's that for us. And I said it last year. I'll say it again. He's the safety blanket, right? When things get a little bumpy, things get up and down, he's a guy who knows how to get to his spot and can create from his spot. So we know we can depend on him, and he's reliable in those moments for us.
What about with Duncan? He was a guy that felt like he either had a hockey assist, he either was getting an open shot for himself. He was kind of like the engine that kept everything moving for the other guys, Cade and Tobias.
Yeah, that's what we talked about pregame, right? It's not just his ability to shoot the ball that impacts winning or losing. It's his ability to, keep offenses ticking, force teams to continue to have to guard multiple actions that makes everybody else's job easy around him. And he's just extremely heady. He knows how to make the play, and he outthinks, his opponent most nights.
Tonight marks the 5th game since Jaden Ivey has been back. Can you just talk about your evaluation from him so far?
Yeah, I think tonight was his best night. Again, when you haven't played professional basketball in 11 months and you're on, about a 15-minute restriction and you play smaller doses, it's not always going to be easy for a guy to come back. It's just hard. Playing NBA basketball is hard. Finding your rhythm, finding your confidence, all those things is hard. But I think tonight he showed what he was capable of, his ability to attack the paint, make shots, help us be a pest defensively. So he's only going to continue to get better, and it's just going to take him some time.
Coach, Duncan Robinson's first game back in Miami, obviously a lot of emotions with it. For him to have a game high, plus 17, to play, not even a game where he shot it well. Can you just speak on his impact on the game, the emotions going into it, all of it?
Yeah, but Duncan is extremely mature. He's also extremely competitive, so this game, I'm sure, meant something to him. But he doesn't do things that, lend to being about him. He did all the right things to help the team and was consistent in that all night. And I think that's why, the outcome was the way it was because of his ability, to sacrifice himself and just do what was right by the team. Thank you.
Looking over the South Beach skyline here as Pistons will leave Miami tonight with a win. Cade Cunningham lighting it up for the Pistons here tonight, helping lead the charge. And here we go. Pistons taking on the Hawks. That's their next matchup. Monday night, 6:30 on FanDuel Sports Network. Their last meeting was just a few weeks ago, November 18th. Pistons were able to win that one. Were able to get points off turnovers, of course, leading in points in the paint. That's been their bread and butter all season long. Just to give a little recap, Pistons coming off of 2 tough losses were able to wipe that away here tonight in Miami. Cade Cunningham, Tobias Harris leading the charge in this one. This win here tonight is the 9th win by single digits this season, the most in the NBA. Pistons leaving South Beach with a happy plane ride home. We'll see you guys on Monday. Have a great night.